2002, the Philadelphia 76ers lost in the first round of the NBA playoffs, and their superstar player, Allen Iverson, was in a lot of trade rumors. So Allen Iverson talked to his coach, and he's like, yo, coach, am I getting traded? Am I getting traded? And his coach said, no, you're not getting traded. So Allen Iverson decided to have a press conference about this, saying, hey, I'm not going to get traded. However, the reporters kept asking about different things like practice, and you guys know Allen Iverson feels about practice.
And we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game. We're talking about practice.
However, even though this press conference is famous because of what Allen Iverson said about practice, this press conference is about way more than just practice. And I want to share 3 life lessons that I learned from Allen Iverson through this press conference. The first lesson I learned from this press conference is to be confident. Allen Iverson said, I feel like I'm the best player in the world. And that type of confidence is required in order to succeed in any area of your life, especially if you're someone in Allen Iverson's position. Allen Iverson was about 6 foot and he's about 165 pounds, which means he's over half a foot shorter than the average NBA player, and he's also 50 pounds less than the average NBA player. However, what Allen Iverson lacked in size, he made up because of his confidence, because of his mindset. This reminds me of my point guard my senior year of high school. This guy was good, he was a great point guard, but he was undersized. But what he lacked in size, he made up with his mindset. And one day we had practice and I was shooting with him on the same hoop. So I asked him, I was like, man, when do you practice? He said, I don't practice. It's all God-given ability, which makes no sense. Like, how is he so good without practicing? Like, this is the same guy who was averaging 9 assists earlier in the season. This is the same guy who scored 30 points in a game, who hit 9 threes in a single game. This guy who made all region. Like, how is he so good without practicing? Then I told him, man, I practice all the time, but I'm still not good. And then he said, Austin, you are good. You're better than a lot of other people. And that makes so much sense. Like, now I understand why he's so good. He's so good because he believes he's good. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. He had confidence in himself. And that confidence is what made him good, even though he didn't practice. And this is the same thing with Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson should not have found much success in basketball because of the size he was. He's very undersized. But what he lacked in size, he made up with his mindset. And we should do the same as well. In order to succeed in an area of life, we have to be confident. The second life lesson I learned from Allen Iverson through this press conference is to be determined. Allen Iverson said in the press conference, quote, I don't think nobody in the world will play harder than me, unquote. Allen Iverson believed he was the hardest playing person on the NBA basketball court. And I believe this is true as well. The year before this press conference was held, the 2001 NBA season, Allen Iverson was named MVP of the season. And arguably, the most impressive part of the season is he played 71 of the 82 possible games. And the reason why this is so impressive is because throughout the season, Allen Iverson had 11 different injuries, but he still played through it because he was a determined individual. This reminds me once again of my point guard my senior year of high school. Like I said, he was a great player, he had a great mindset, however, he did not practice. He was not determined to be the best possible basketball player as he could possibly be. And my coach got mad at him for this one day. I forgot the exact incident, but at practice, he said this. He said, man, you could be the best guard in the region, which is true. If he was more determined, he could have been the best point guard in our entire region for basketball. However, he was not determined, and he did not practice because of it. However, Allen Iverson was not like my point guard. Allen Iverson was determined to be the best player he could be. A reporter said something like this during the press conference. He was like, hey, Allen Iverson, you don't need to practice as much as your teammates do because you're better than them. And Allen Iverson, this made no sense to him.
Me? What you mean I don't need as much? What you mean I'm a superstar? Why? Why am I the superstar?
It made no sense to him, which it doesn't make sense, right? Because Allen Iverson was determined. He had a goal in mind, which his goal was to win an NBA championship. And he said later in the press conference, he's like, yo, I won an MVP. I had multiple All-Star appearances. I have all this other stuff, all these individual accolades, but I want a championship.
Motivate me? How you gonna motivate me? Motivate me? I wanna win, man. That's all I care about. I've been in the league 6 years. I got no title, a bunch of individual awards that don't mean nothing. They don't mean nothing, scoring titles. They don't mean nothing, all-star games. They ain't never win no championship. That's all I care about, man. That's all I care about. I don't have no selfish bone in my body, man. I've accomplished stuff. I've done things, man. I won scoring titles. I've been MVP. You know, I've been first team All-NBA. I've done all that. I just want to win. That's all I want to do. That's all I don't have a selfish bone in my body, man.
And Allen Iverson, because he had that goal in mind, he was determined. He was a determined individual to reach that goal. In the same way, we must be determined if we want to reach the goals we're trying to get to. The third life lesson I learned from Allen Iverson is don't take advice from everyone. See, Allen Iverson, like I said, he was undersized. He was like 165 pounds. He was like 6 foot, which is very undersized compared to average NBA players. So I'm assuming a lot of people in the past had told him, yo, Allen Iverson, put on muscle, put on some weight, and you're going to be a better basketball player. So that same press conference, a reporter asked him, hey, Allen Iverson, what are you going to do over the offseason, over the summer to get better? And Allen Iverson was joking. He said, yo, if I put on tons of muscle, if I put on a ton of weight, if I come in looking big and strong, yo, I'm going to be a better basketball player.
What I got to do, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to be the biggest, baddest, strongest bodybuilder in the world. And that's going to make me the best player in the world.
And then he became more serious. He's like, yo, if I become this type of player, if I gain all this weight, are you guys going to give me the MVP?
That's going to make me, if I can do that, if I build myself up and get a whole lot of muscles and come back in here and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, are y'all going to give me the MVP award automatically? Will you please do that? If I come in here look swole and big and strong and tough, y'all going to give me that award, right?
To which the reporters later said, no, we're not just going to give you MVP because you put on muscle. You have to deserve it, which was exactly Allen Iverson's point. He's like, yo, I don't need to follow your guys' advice to put on muscle in order to win MVP. He later said in the press conference how he already won MVP being as skinny as he is.
Why not? I mean, I've been an MVP, bony as hell.
On your guys' advice of putting on muscle is not going to win me MVP. But this was later shown a few seconds later when Allen Iverson asked the reporters, he's like, yo, what do you guys think I should do to improve? How should I get better during the offseason? And the reporter was arrogant enough to try to give Allen Iverson advice. He said, yo, Allen Iverson, I got some advice. I got a suggestion. And Allen Iverson's like, yeah, what do you have to say?
So what I got to do? Y'all tell me what y'all want me to do. Yeah.
There are people who suggest, me among them, that instead of shooting 40%, if you were in...
What you know about basketball?
I know.
Have you ever played?
Yes.
I don't know Phil Jackson. I don't know you as a basketball player. I mean, for real. I know you as a columnist. Listen, I don't know you as no player though. I ain't never heard of you as no player.
Why is that an issue?
Why is that an issue? We talking about basketball.
Well, then let me ask my
We talking about basketball.
Let me ask my question.
What? What's your question? Philip.
Suppose you shot 40.
See, Allen Iverson, he's one of the best basketball players ever. And the reporter, he's never played high-level basketball. So why would Allen Iverson take advice from the reporter? It doesn't make sense. In the same way, we shouldn't take advice from everyone. Be careful who you take advice from. And that includes me. You know, I have a YouTube channel where it may be, hey, don't just trust someone because they have a YouTube channel. You know, I'll be the first to tell you that I'm not always right, or my advice may not be for everyone, right? So, but hopefully this advice helps you in any way. These 3 life lessons that I learned from Allen Iverson, which is be confident, be determined, and don't take advice from anyone and everyone. If you like this video, make sure to like this video, and thanks for watching.